What's happening, people? Welcome to this episode of Everything 9000. It's been a while, man.
It's been too long.
You went to India recently, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they let you in.
I know. I am too.
Given the amount of stories you put up about the government and how much you hate the government, I'm surprised they let you in.
You know, they used to ask you when you applied for visa, they used to ask you for your social media handles and stuff before.
Yeah,
on the E one.
Yeah.
But then I applied through the embassy and they didn't ask me anything. So I think that's probably what saved me.
More so surprised of them letting you into India. I'm surprised they let you back into the UK. They probably looked at all your stories. Rishi Sunak, probably looking at them. You know, do you know what? I agree, Boris is a twat. You know what? Soila Braverman, yeah, she could be a better person. What are we going to be talking about today? Today, we obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, we're going to be talking about the World Cup. Yeah, you couldn't have missed it. So we'll be
you could have missed it because some people are choosing not to watch it, but okay.
We'll get onto that. The Ronaldo situation.
That you can't miss.
That you can't miss. And I know you're looking to get a few cheap shots out there, so we'll do that as well.
No, I will be, buddy.
Mr. Ye, as he's now known, not Kanye.
Okay.
Ye. He's been a naughty boy, so we'll discuss him. And a bit of Meghan and Harry.
Okay.
Meghan and Harry. I don't know, if anything else comes to mind, we'll talk about that. But, yeah, man, I mean, World Cup. So we're now at the quarterfinals stage.
Yes.
Quarterfinals stage.
France, Holland, Argentina.
Yeah. Holland, Argentina, Brazil, Portugal, Morocco, and one more Croatia.
Wait, Brazil playing Croatia, right? And then Morocco, Portugal, yeah.
Basically, out of the 8 teams, I would have expected all 8 to have made it. Apart from Morocco.
Yeah.
Because they played Spain. I'll tell you, that keeper weren't letting nothing in.
Yeah, Bono.
Apparently, he was one of the best keepers in La Liga last year. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And apparently, he's meant to be really good at saving penalties too, by the way.
Well, there you
That's
go.
like his thing, apparently. To be honest, that Morocco team has like a few stars in it, you know, Hakimi, Ziyech. All of these players, they're big players playing big teams and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
they're not nobodies, basically.
They're not nobodies. I think it's just unexpected because they don't really... Did they do anything in the African Cup of Nations? I don't think they did, really, did they?
All I know is Senegal won.
Yeah,
Egypt got to the final.
Yeah, to be honest, talking to Senegal, I genuinely thought like it would be very difficult for England to get through. I thought that.
I thought it was light work for England, man. No. Senegal, really. Champions of Africa.
See, you're saying that now because you've seen the game. You've got the benefit for like hindsight, right? Yeah, but what I'm trying to say to you before the game,
you're just a pussy. You were just scared.
No, I'm not scared. I don't give a shit about
Senegal didn't even have Mane.
No, they didn't have Mane, but they still have top players. Ismail Assar, he's very good.
Who?
He'd get into the England team. Ismail Assar.
Ismail Assar, okay.
Yeah.
He's all right. He's not amazing, but go on, yeah.
Right, and then you've got Koulibaly. I know he's not...
Koulibaly.
I know he's not...
He's getting duppied at Chelsea every week.
Yeah, but...
Overrated.
No, he's not overrated. He's
like 30 now as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Then Edouard Mendy, obviously, one of the top keepers in the world.
But he had a shocker that game.
But... if you look at the form of the last couple of years, he's one of the best keepers in the world.
Yeah, but nothing amazing. Like, I think you're undervaluing. Do you know what? I think we do this because, rightly so, we've gone into this competition.
No,
when I say we're talking about England, obviously.
Yeah.
Not India. We've gone in with lower expectations.
Yeah.
And I think that's obviously helped the team, you know, carrying less baggage, etc., etc.
You know, no, it's not even that.
I think what you're doing is you're undervaluing.
No, I'm not undervaluing because if you look at it, since Gareth Southgate, you know, Gareth Southgate has been a step forward, right? And I would not deny him that. He's brought a unity to the team that you hadn't seen before.
Some questionable decisions.
No. I was going to get into that, but like basically the step forward is the fact that the team, the whole attitude of the team is different.
There's a team mentality, yeah.
Yeah, there's a team mentality, but then the relationship with the media is different as well now.
Right.
If you compare it to the golden generation of 2006, for example, when Fabio Capello. You like all of these players
Rooney,
now.
Terry, Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard.
All of these players are coming out now and say, look, we had no unity in the team. You know, like the Man United players wouldn't sit with the Liverpool
with
players,
the Chelsea players,
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
That you don't see that anymore. Like that's what hampered the team. So that's what
you've seen it a little bit with Jordan Henderson courting Bellingham. You've seen it a little bit.
No, but that's just a bit of banter. But what I'm trying to say is like they probably do sit around the table together, right? The unity of the team is a lot better.
If Liverpool get Bellingham, I will probably never talk to you ever again.
I know. Bellingham, you know, it's going to be at Madrid or Liverpool, I think.
I've got a statement, yeah. I'm going to tweet this as well because this shit's going to be like, this is a great statement. Bellingham is everything Pogba could have been.
No. Pogba, I don't know. Like Bellingham's not the Pogba type of player. He doesn't show off. He doesn't do a lot of skills and stuff. Bellingham's
He does. In tight spaces, he has to use his trickery to get out.
He does. But what I'm trying to say is like he's
a tall athlete, middle of the park, box to box player. Everything Pogba could have been.
Much faster than Pogba.
Faster, yeah.
Yeah, and okay, we'll speak about Bellingham and we'll go in a minute. But as I was saying with England, right? Okay, yeah.
Do you think England's going to go all the way?
No, because the reason they went
France up next.
Yeah. The reason because that's my criticism, Gareth Southgate basically is that what he's achieved in terms of team unity, like he has a bit of a shortcoming when it actually comes to management, when it comes to the football part. If you look at it over the last World Cup, over the Euros, England beat every team that they were expected to beat, that they couldn't have lost to. But anytime they came up with against the team that was on a similar level...
That World Cup was different because he used very defensive tactics. He played 2 holding midfielders, 5 at the back at times. Yeah. This year's been a bit different.
I'm very surprised that he's stuck with 4. We'll see how he does with France if he sticks with 4. He has to stick with 4 now.
I mean, Declan Rice helps that.
Yeah. Declan Rice.
Good CDM.
And then also Henderson, he plays for that for Liverpool. But then also, Phillips... Calvin Phillips is top in that role, and he performs really well for England. So he's there as well.
What the frustrating game was the USA one where he was playing like Mason Mount, and it's like why are you playing Mount over Foden? Yeah, and then it was.
I think he's been relying on Mason Mount for a long time, but he's been out of form, Mason Mount. To be fair, and it's good to see like
Harry Maguire.
He's been all right, but what I'm saying in terms
Harry Maguire's not put a foot wrong.
He has probably put a foot wrong, but
don't think he has.
No, I don't know.
In an England shirt, he's top 3 centre-backs in the world.
Okay, let's not get excited. This is the kind of talk that led to United paying £80 million.
Listen, justified. You watch him in an England shirt. Yeah, I'll pay 90.
No. But in terms of like, you talking
Alright, so look, France next.
Yeah.
Are we beating them?
No.
We're not beating France?
No. Why I'm not part of this by the way. Yeah, like
you are. You live here. You need to respect the country. You need to respect.
I'm not part of this.
You watch the Premier League week in, week out. You support Liverpool. You're not supporting Henderson.
What?
You're not supporting Henderson.
No, because I'm not.
You're not supporting TAA.
Yeah, I'm supporting those boys. Yeah, but then my main loyalties right now, shamefully, lie with Argentina. But
really? Yeah. Oh, you want Messi to lift it?
Yeah, I think there's not a single player in that World Cup who deserves to lift that trophy more. I mean, whoever wins deserves to lift it. But
watching Messi in the World Cup,
it's been an absolute.
Now he doesn't put a foot wrong.
He doesn't.
The timing of his pass, he just waits. He takes that extra touch, splits.
How old is he now? It's
34.
34. Have you seen the way he dribbles the ball? Still,
maybe.
No, he's not 35. I think. Oh, he could be 35.
Could be.
Have a look. No, I think it's 33.
But anyway, he's not 33. Messi age 35 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, say sorry.
Wow, I thought he was 33.
Yeah, say sorry.
Sorry, but then like...
Say I'm better than you.
No, but what I'm trying to say, the point I'm trying to make about Messi is if you watch him this World Cup, he's so silky.
Yeah, no.
He's not...
If he had a slightly better team around him, that Lautaro Martinez, meant to be one of the best strikers around, absolute dog shit. Right?
No,
absolute dog shit. He couldn't finish a fucking...
You know what I'm really worried about? If you look at over the earlier years of Messi in Argentina, the thrown in his side was Gonzalo Higuain, one of the best strikers, but he would miss big chances in finals.
Yeah. Martinez is the new Higuain.
Basically, and I'm really fearful for Messi on that account.
You know what? They should have just taken Aguero.
They probably would have had it not retired.
Okay, so you want to see Messi lift the World Cup?
100%.
Not Ronaldo?
No. Why would Ronaldo lift the World Cup? I don't think even Portuguese people want to see Ronaldo lift the World Cup.
No, they do.
No, they don't.
Ronaldo came out and
70% of the Portuguese people don't want him in the team, so you know.
Ronaldo came out and said he'd be happy if he didn't score any goals and he lifted the World Cup.
He wouldn't be. He would rather him score 20 goals in that thing and then go out group stages.
I don't think so. I think one thing that Ronaldo wants more than anything else is the World Cup.
He wants it for himself.
No, I know he's selfish, right? I'm not denying that. But he does want the World Cup.
For his own status.
His legacy, yeah.
No. If he could have the World Cup alone and not the Portugal, right? If that was somehow possible, he would do that. And you know it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Isn't the World Cup about your country, though? You're giving the World Cup to your country. The country's not giving it to you. You're giving it to the country, you know?
Yeah. But
it's for the country, not for you.
But obviously there's been a lot with Ronaldo in the news recently. You know, he's part
Basically, I think reluctantly, somewhat, reluctantly definitely, but what every Man United fan has come to accept, including yourself, is that the man is a cunt. Something that I've been shouting from the rooftops for the last fucking 20 years.
No, he's a nice guy, man. He does a lot of charity work.
Oh, yeah, no, very nice guy.
As in, like, look,
very nice guy.
Look, he had to leave. What's happened now?
Can I just say, okay, you were like, oh, Return of the King, blah 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 blah. So tell me, was I right or was I right when I said Ronaldo for United is a bad move? Don't give me this bullshit about he scored so many goals for us in the first season. You know what? You
did,
are
though.
actually he
did.
did, but then nobody else did. Nobody else. Did you realize the carnage?
You know what it was, right? You know this interview that he did with Piers Morgan, right?
Loved it. I hate Piers Morgan to the core, and that's the only thing I watched him in it because I was wanting to see Ronaldo talk shit.
This is a side point, but I thought it was tacky with the banners it had up. Like, they need to be looking at some of this cloud videos, man. Like, know how to get some proper production in. But anyway, I watched the Piers Morgan interview, and if you put aside the one comment that just put the nail in his coffin for United, which was where he said, he doesn't respect the manager. Clearly, when he said that, there was no future for him at United.
No, because he wanted to get out of a contract.
He wanted to get out of the contract. Fine.
Yeah.
But if he had not said that one thing, right, I think the reaction to his interview would have been completely different. No, because he talked about the shortcomings of the facilities at United, the training methods, blah, 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 all of this.
Yeah, that's a dig at.
But this is something the fans agree with, the real fans that want the Glazers out. And his interview has prompted the Glazers to come out and say they would be open to a sale. Mm-hmm. Right? So, this is what I'm saying. If he hadn't made the comment about the manager, the things that he said...
I don't think it was this interview that prompted the Glazers to say, okay, we want to sell the club. It wasn't.
It pushed it big time.
No, it did not. It probably did nothing.
Mate.
No.
It pushed it. The stock price went down.
No. I disagree with that. I don't think United had anything to do with the decision to sell up, for the Glazers to sell up and stuff, or anything at all. If anything, him criticizing it was probably with the coffin and the nail, the nail in the coffin with his contract, because they probably cared more about Ronaldo saying, the club's being run a certain way, is not made any progress, than they're saying, I don't respect the manager. So
okay, I don't agree with what you're saying, but anyway, yeah, the fact that, like I said, the reaction would have been very different.
It wouldn't have been. It would have been
very different.
He still said
he still
said 100 explosive things in there.
He's still the GOAT.
He's not.
Maybe alongside Messi, maybe after Messi. I don't know.
No,
undecided there. Depends who in the World Cup.
No, it goes. Certainly, when I've been watching football, it goes Lionel Messi, Steven Gerrard, Fernando Torres.
I can't deny. Watching Messi's just got a gift.
You know, when you watch Messi,
he plays,
it's different to Ronaldo.
It's magical.
I
get it.
But the thing makes you fall in love with football. Watching Messi makes you fall in love with football.
But a lot of athletes have answered the question, Ronaldo or Messi.
Yeah.
And what we don't understand is what athletes have to go through day in, day out.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And you know the discipline in terms of diet, the fact that he's first in at training, last out of training, the hard work he puts in means that he's a normal person that is up against Messi.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's incredible?
No, that's incredible. But look, people talk of his professionalism and all that stuff, right? But now it's come to the fore, okay, well, you know what? He's not as actually professional as people thought.
Obviously, recently, now that he's 37.
He can't accept the fact that he won't, I don't think he wants to retire. At what point will he accept, okay, I need to retire? At what point?
I saw a comment.
And I think as a person, and the saddest thing is, for all the things that he's achieved, the fact that he's getting pushed out is the saddest fact of the saddest part of it all.
I think I read a comment and I agree with it. It was win the World Cup and just retire. Don't go to Saudi Arabia. Don't go to America. Don't go to Sporting Lisbon. Just retire. And you've done it. You've done everything you need.
But I don't think he will win the World Cup. Portugal,
though, do you know what? They surprised me because I looked through the team. They've got some killers, man. They've got Bernardo Silva, who just goes under the radar.
Yeah, no, Bernardo Silva is one of the top players in the world.
Exactly.
One of the best.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best players in the world.
Their defence is where it's a little bit shaky.
Pepe is still going strong, though.
He scored a goal. He's okay, but he's slow. You know what I mean? Slow, if he comes up to someone like Mbappe, he'll struggle big time. He's 39.
No, they got pace in that defence as well. They got Cancelo, who's one of the fastest defenders in the world. Yeah, I don't know if Dalot's fast, is he? I've never seen him play.
Dalot is good. And their left back, Rafael, is it? He's good.
Yeah.
Who else in Portugal? Portugal, Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
Ruben Neves. Exactly. Their midfield is stacked.
Yeah, the midfield's stacked. I would say on paper...
Even that Leo that came on and scored a goal recently, the winger, he looks class.
And the other player looks good as well, the one that replaced Ronaldo. He
Oh, the guy that scored a hat trick.
Yeah, he
exactly.
seemed sharp.
Costa was it? Yeah. Something
Ramos.
Ramos.
Yeah,
Costa
yeah.
Ramos, I think. Yeah. But yeah,
he looks
fine.
sharp though. So Ronaldo, I don't know. I think Portugal as a team, they look better than Argentina, but Argentina just have this habit of
Argentina just have Messi.
I don't know if they have.
And I think for that, they won't go all the way. My money is, you know what? England are actually looking strong, man. I have to say.
But I don't see them going past France, though.
If that's a good point. Let's see how that match goes. You know, obviously France are also another team that could go all the way, obviously.
Yeah.
Who else is still in there? Germany's gone, Spain's gone.
They've not been themselves for the last few years, though, Germany, Spain, to be fair. So I don't know.
Who else is in the competition that could take it? Brazil.
Brazil looking very strong.
Brazil.
Like, they are genuinely, like, they're firing on cylinders.
I just wanted to say, by the way, you see how, like, when Don Daddy Casemiro's in the midfield, yeah?
Who?
Don Daddy Casemiro, yeah?
Oh,
He's
okay.
in the midfield.
Right.
You know who's on the bench?
Fred?
Fabinho.
Is he?
Yeah, he is, mate.
Oh,
Because there's a hierarchy.
Okay.
There's Don Daddy Casemiro.
Okay.
Then there's his little son, Fabinho. Then there's his grandson, Fred.
Okay.
That's the order.
Firmino.
Fred.
Okay.
Fabinho and then Fred.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the order.
But
Because Fred, yeah, he needs to know his place. He's on the bench.
Right.
All right, little bunny rabbit. When we needed legs, they'll bring him on. Fine. Fabinho, when you're resting Casemiro.
Okay.
But otherwise, Casemiro is
Right.
the GOAT in DM. And he's
Right.
been playing 6, scored goals, assists, whatever. But can we just admit, yeah, United for once have a better DM than Liverpool for the first time in like the last 10 years.
how old is he?
He's 31. 30.
31. You paid 70 million for that guy.
No. Is he the best though?
Is he the best for United? No.
What do you mean, no? He's been class since he's come in.
Has he?
Listen, you're just a hater, yeah. But anyway, anything else in terms of the World Cup? Did you want to talk about the fact that you hate that it's in Qatar and you're fake not watching it and this, that, and the other?
We haven't even got to that part.
Yeah, we haven't.
So I've been watching in parts, but I haven't been watching the same fervor like as I would normal World Cup.
Piers Morgan also did an interview with, I think it was the head of sporting relations from Qatar, right? And they actually got down to the bottom of this. You know how like the English media, especially the newspaper that you read very heavily, which is The Guardian, they came out and said, thousands, around 6,000 people have died building stadiums in Qatar because of, bad working conditions, etc. Well, Piers Morgan had that interview and he did really push on this point to the fact that I thought, Piers, you're going to get shot and kidnapped here. Like, just chill how you're talking. But the actual estimated figures were,
Oh, you mean from the Qatari government? Okay. Oh, so they're not saying thousands of workers have died. Oh, I'm very surprised about that, buddy.
No, but
because they have like a proper
first, he
statistics,
did come out with a low figure.
He said 400. No, he said 400.
It was about 600, yeah.
No, he said 400.
Was it 400?
Yeah.
400,
so,
yeah.
all this time, Qatar have said, okay, related to this is 30 deaths. Now they're saying 400, right? So they don't even have proper statistics, okay? And then they don't count half of the stuff. Like, for example, when you get...
No, but that was to do with all construction, to do with anything that FIFA is going to do in Qatar.
No.
So that includes any building of hotels, anything.
Yeah. And it's
so
not...
400.
No.
I'm not... Look, and he did say one death is too many. And we need to correct this.
Really?
But my point
They need to correct it after the World Cup, do they?
No, look. They knew there was going to... I'm not defending them, by the way. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I know you're very much of this leftist, propaganda.
Really?
That is like...
propaganda, is it?
Like the BBC, just taking a stand against not showing the opening ceremony.
Right. It's a propaganda, me saying...
No. So they've not got a problem flying out to Qatar to sit in a studio and do the exact same thing they could have done in London.
Yeah.
Where's your thoughts there?
And I think they were...
So don't you think it's half in? It's like, we're not going to show the opening ceremony because we don't agree with the World Cup being in Qatar. But then they're there.
No, I agree with that, okay, yeah. But what I'm trying to say is the Qatar World Cup, it should never been held. And to be fair, like, if you look at it, why are the countries like Qatar, all this stuff, like, doing this? They have a population of, like, 2 million, right? And majority of that population is basically migrant workers. Actual Qataris is only a couple of 100,000, right? I think you can check it up online, but actual Qataris in Qatar are only a couple of 100,000.
Right.
So you can't have this argument to make, we want the World Cup out of Europe or out of South America.
Obviously, hold on. FIFA's a corrupt body. Money talks.
It's not, okay, listen. You know how Qatar is saying we want to introduce football to this area, blah, blah, blah. That's all bollocks because there's not a single person Like, the country's literally just too small for there to be like a football revolution, okay, yeah? Right? The whole reason they wanted to do this is they have the cash, they own half of London, right? Okay. And they have the cash and they wanted to, like, basically what you call sports wash, right? And, you know, look at us, we're holding this great World Cup, blah, 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 blah. As Russia did, as any country that does, okay? Like, you know, they want to host the Olympics, they want to host the World Cup because it's the event that people watch the most. And it's what brings your country into the limelight and you get to say good things about it. It's called sports washing. That's what Saudi Arabia do with all these boxing fights and, you know, the live golf, football.
Look, I know
so this
these
is what they want to do.
because I've heard you say these a million times.
No, but this is what they want to do.
Are you going to keep this same energy when the World Cup's held in America? Are you going to have a stand against gun crime there?
Well, yeah, of course. Like, you know, like...
No, but are you going to boycott the World Cup and not watch it because you feel that strongly against gun crime?
Let me tell you a reason why I strongly feel stronger about Qatar than any other place, okay? For example, you look at... There are certain things, okay, that are fundamentally incorrect. There are things that are fundamentally incorrect with every country, okay, yeah? But there are at least not laws. It's not legally... like people talking about Russia, right? Okay, why were you like not boycotting Russia, for example? Why is this heat on LGBT, heat on like Qatar? It's not legally, it's not like illegal to be gay in Russia, right? The attitude, because it's a very conservative country, it's an orthodox country, okay, yeah? So a lot of the attitudes of the government officials and also like a lot of the majority of the people is anti-LGBT because, as I said, the orthodox. But you could still be and live together as a gay couple in Russia, right? Even though you would face
I'm not supporting what Qatar's doing, but do you see the argument that if you go to a country, you need to respect their rules?
No, you need to respect the rules, but there are certain things that are fundamentally wrong, okay? Right. Respecting rules not to buy alcohol, I understand that, okay? And it's probably better that you don't see drunk people going around there.
I agree too.
Personally, because I don't drink, right? So I don't think it's a fundamental human right for you to drink. Okay, but I do believe that if you are gay, and we're not just talking about fans going over there, we're also talking about gay Qataris, people like that live in the Arab world that are gay. Okay, yeah, I understand that religiously people think, okay, you know, they don't allow it in their religion and so on. So people have a very strong view about it, and I don't mean to disrespect them on that, right? Okay, yeah, there's a lot of people in this country that think, okay, because there's this argument that, you know, when people come to the UK, everybody's saying respect our laws, respect us, you know, like our values and stuff, okay, yeah? So why can't you have that for Qatar as well? But personally, I'm of the belief that there are certain fundamental human rights that you need to have. And like, you know, the freedom to choose who you want to be with is one of them. Now, a lot of people would disagree with me and say, okay, no, it's not allowed on our religious kind of like, you know, religious is not allowed. So I would just say, okay, in that case, then let's have a World Cup where it is allowed to be gay, for example, right? Or host those events. And secondly, so there are two big points. Secondly, in terms of the it's not slave labor, but the conditions, it's almost slave labor, but these people build
it. is, you know, I went to Dubai with Dad and we spoke to some locals there. Working in the heat in like 40, 50 degrees.
I mean 50 degrees. Yeah. And you know, it's not even just that.
And it's like you're paid minimum wage. It's difficult to get out of the cycle. You can never pay off your debts and then never leave your job.
Not only that, so you know, if you look at it, the most of the migrant workers that come and build these from like poorer countries, for example, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and a lot of Indians that go work in Qatar, right? Okay, yeah. And that they do mostly construction work, right? But like separately as well, a lot of like domestic help, for example, nannies, cooks, and all of that stuff. A lot of people like from the Philippines, women from Philippines and Thailand, like go and work in the Gulf countries. Now, I've represented women who've worked in the Gulf countries, okay, yeah, that have come to the UK now, that have experienced basically what's it called? Like modern slavery, basically, right? And the conditions that these people are working are amounting to modern slavery. And it's all because the state has rules, right, that allow it kind of thing to happen. It's almost state sponsored, right? In that sense, you have modern slavery in the UK. There's a lot of people that go through slavery in the UK, right? Even till date. But there are rules and laws in place to recognize that and kind of like amend that, okay, yeah? So it's not to say, okay, this shit only happens in Gulf countries, it only happens there. But the rules and laws in those countries allow for that to happen. And it's in that sense, it's almost state-sponsored. Like, the state doesn't give a shit that 400 people, as they say, have died, making that World Cup, like building those stadiums. For them, all they care about is that finished product, right? So they can say, oh, we've spent 200 million on this, or all of that stuff, okay, yeah? But the amount of lives that have gone into it and the complete disregard for them, they're even refusing to recognize it because they're still saying, well, that person died of a heart attack, but then how did that heart attack come about? Because of the bloody conditions. He's working in 50 degrees of heat without any breaks, without any like proper facilities. They don't have anything to sleep properly as well. Like if you look at some of the houses they were living in, cramped conditions, passports taken off them, not paid on time, right? The attitude is very backwards. It's almost like that country is still in like the 1800s.
And for that reason, you've not been watching the Qatar World Cup?
Well, yeah, mostly I haven't. And I've still been watching like highlights and stuff, and I've caught the odd game, but I've not taken out time like I would have previously, like shut everything off, watch the World Cup, right? So that's not been like my main focus. Because it's still, at the end of the day, we do love football, and it's hard to kind of like stay away from football whenever it's on. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I haven't watched it at all. But it's not been at the forefront of everything, you know?
All right, cool. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Kanye West. Well, Ye, that's his real name. Ye.
Okay.
He's been in the media recently. He's just been like left, right, centre. Obviously, he's just been.
He hasn't been left, right, and centre. He's been right.
right. He's been banned by your other good friend Elon Musk on Twitter a number of times recently too for apparently inciting violence.
Okay.
But you know, like,
what happened to the free speech?
But you know, obviously, yeah, he's come out, and even Kanye West fans have been like, "Yo, bro, I can't defend you anymore. I can't defend you." He came out recently and he said he could see some good points of Hitler, and yeah.
Listen, to be honest, I've never had too much to say about Kanye because I've never really engaged with his bullshit. But from day one, I've told you it's all bullshit.
So is this you telling me I told you so?
100%, buddy. I've told you that like 200 times since that interview came out, right? And I would say again, I told you so on camera, you know, on the podcast. I told you so. Kanye West is a cunt. He's a waste of money, like space. He's a waste of like time. You shouldn't pay any credence to anything that he says because he's just that attention whore, right?
What if he just produced music and didn't talk shit?
I don't know. Then he would be like any other musician, I suppose. But then that's not enough for some people, and you know they have to be.
Obviously, he's come out with a lot of like remarks that are on the anti-Semitic radar.
Radar? Are they on the radar, or are they like breaking the radar?
Well, you be the judge of that. And you know, obviously, he's been dropped by everyone. Adidas,
rightly so.
Left, right, centre. That's the correct term there. Left, right, centre. He's been dropped by everyone. Sony, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I mean...
You know, people like that just waste the space, basically. Like, you know, some people will say things just for the sake of saying it, and he's one of those people.
Yeah.
You know, and you should never, ever pay any attention or, like, give, like, any amount of your time or attention to those people because that's what they thrive off. They will say more and more.
There were a couple of interesting points.
Oh, come off it, man.
I definitely agree. What he said was fucked. I'm not saying for 1 second I agree with Kanye West or Ye, whatever you want to call him, right? But why is it that when he said slavery was a choice for black people, he didn't get cancelled like this? Why were the brands not dropping him then?
No, I get that. I don't know, but there are just certain things you can and can't say. Like, slavery was a choice. Like, it was outrageous, right? It was outrageous, and I get your point. Why were the brands not dropping him then? I suppose, like, it's just how the reaction has been. Like, I think if you look at it historically, like, the Holocaust is something that's been very recent, is very fresh, right? Okay, yeah, and a lot of people increasingly starting to deny it and saying, okay, well... And so because of that, the companies and stuff are very scared of being associated with anything remotely close to it.
Bearing in mind, Adidas was founded by a couple of Nazis.
Yeah. It's from Germany, but you can't hold Adidas to that now. You know what I mean? Like, it could be anything. Like, Oxford University was like half of the UK is built on slavery as well. Like,
yeah, I know. I am clutching at straws. I'm just playing devil's advocate just to keep this interesting. These aren't my views, but yeah, go on.
If you look at like Oxford University, Cambridge University, historically, a lot of the money and the funding came from like colonial like loot and all that stuff, right? Okay, yeah, but then that doesn't mean you won't send your kid to Oxford if they got a chance, right?
That's interesting.
So you can't. Historically, you can't hold companies to their origins in that sense. I mean, if they were still like...
So if your dad was Pablo Escobar, you wouldn't mind?
I would mind, personally. I wouldn't want to benefit from that.
You wouldn't take a dime?
I wouldn't take a dime.
I think it's easy to say when you...
I know it's easier to say that and then done.
I think you would.
I don't think I would try not to.
I think you'd be driving up here in a G-Wagon.
I don't think Pablo Escobar's money survived him.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it did. So I presume it didn't. Like, if you watch the
interview. Fair enough. But, another brand that's just been in the media recently is Balenciaga.
You told me about that, but I actually don't know what's going on with that.
So, okay, how do I describe it?
I just saw something about Kim Kardashian and Balenciaga, and that's it. Like,
they ran a campaign. And the head designer, I've forgotten her name now, but her Instagram is private. But people of the internet's found her pictures. She did have a few thousand followers, so it was one of them must have shared them. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of the stuff that she's inspired by, or the pictures that she posts. There's pictures of her all covered in blood, holding like babies, fetuses, what it is. This recent campaign that they ran for clothing, for one of their clothing drops, it was like just had a lot of connotations to like child sacrifice. And also there were rumors that during the campaign the children had folders with indecent images in them, and like it's like, for instance, they had a Balenciaga, like the yellow tape that you normally see on like a crime scene.
Oh yeah.
Well, it said, instead of Balenciaga, it said Balenciaga, Baal. Mm-hmm. And it's like a historical deity. The Baal is someone who children were sacrificed to as offerings. And it's just like there's loads of like hints and clues in
Is that like Indian myth, Baal?
I don't know if it's Indian, but
because Baal in Indian it means like a child. Baal.
Yeah. Well, Baal, god worshipped in many ancient Middle Eastern communities, especially among the Canaanites, who apparently considered him a fertility deity and one of the most important gods in pantheon. But yeah, either way, like I said, children were sacrificed to him, etc., etc., etc. And like, yeah, you can't think that a whole like Balenciaga would have printed the tape, placed it there, taken a picture of the campaign, checked the campaign, released it, and in all that time not have noticed these things. So there's two sides to this argument. Like one side, which the mass public has taken to, is that Hollywood is fucked like this.
You know what it is?
There's a lot of like these paedophilic messages that are constantly sent that, why are people not outraged by Balenciaga?
I don't know. I think with campaigns like for like Balenciaga and stuff, right? Okay, yeah, they pick certain things. They pick certain themes and stuff. Like, no matter how fucked they can be in some cases, right? Okay, yeah, to kind of like launch whatever they're launching, like to get people to talk about it. For example, I've seen it like so many times with companies this whole exercise of this. You were saying like who was the lady with the private Instagram and like pictures of like child.
I'll find her now.
No, as in like she was like one of the program directors, or what was she like? Is she part of Valencia?
She's a designer.
Oh, she's a designer. So you have certain designers with certain like not interests, but like they're into certain things like pagan worship and all that stuff, right? So, and I think in this case, it seems to be, from what you're telling me, by the way, I've not like seen or read anything in this. It's just like something like a campaign they just ran with to be.
What is a creative director, Demna?
Okay.
And many have, accused her of condoning paedophilia and child exploitation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I think it's just Balenciaga just like trying to get in the news, but then like now they're having to like kind of put the tail between the legs and like apologize and stuff. But
I only saw Kim Kardashian. Obviously, she's always seen at events dripped from head to toe in Balenciaga. She came out saying she took it very seriously. Blah blah blah. blah.
She's like, I'm having to reevaluate my relationship with them, but she's not cancelling any contract, mate. At the end of the day, the dollar talks.
Yeah,
this is just something, a PR exercise for her to say, "Oh, I'm outraged by this." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, Balenciaga have filed a $25 million lawsuit against the PR company that supposedly, ran this campaign. But that's just a front. Like, Balenciaga would have known what's up. But yeah, cool. And then, last thing I wanted to talk about was Meghan and Harry. Documentary, 6-part documentary, 3 parts released today.
Yeah.
Right? You've caught 1 episode?
I've caught 1.5.
1.5. What were your initial thoughts? I've caught most of the first episode so far.
So there were some parts I thought were like pretentious. Like it just felt to me like it I don't know, it just felt a bit contrived a little bit. Some of the stuff, like some of the interviews and stuff, like, it's almost like, conveniently have so many, like, they said that, when they first left the royal families, a friend said to start documenting their life.
Right.
So they have these little, like, selfie videos of them, like, talking. It
just feels a bit fake.
Those felt fake because...
I have to be honest, man. I'll be honest. When I was listening to... I've always liked Prince Harry.
Oh, no. So I was going to get to that.
I really liked it. Yeah. But when I was watching that, his responses, I personally really felt that they were, like, PR responses.
Yeah.
That wasn't him. Whereas when Meghan was talking, I felt it a bit less. But you have to remember, she's a very good actor.
Yeah.
So maybe she's just better at fooling me.
No, but you know, there were certain things within, like, the aspect, I think, so this wasn't almost like, this is not so much about the fallout, at least the first 3 episodes. I was listening to this on the radio as well. They were saying, like, this is more about, like, the palace is not too worried about it. Right? Because this is more them, about them telling them, like, how they met, like, you know, how the relationship grew. It's more about them talking about themselves as a couple more than anything else at the moment. And that's the kind of thing I got. I mean, one thing I did find quite touching and emotional was the bit when it's just Prince Harry's like section towards the end of the first episode, where he's talking about Diana and like how she was hounded by the press and how it's impacted him, and like how he saw that as soon as she died, the press just descended upon him and William basically, and it's kind of happening. He's seen that happen to his wife and stuff as well. So all of that, when he's talking about his mum, I thought was quite like touching.
There's a portion of people that are saying, you know, they want to be out of the public sphere, but then yet they're doing an interview with Oprah. Then yet, you know, they're doing a whole Netflix documentary series. Yeah. It's like, is it necessary? People are like, it's a bit tacky.
No, it is a bit tacky in the sense, don't forget, like, they also have to have some sort of income, right? So they were asked, okay, why do you want to do this documentary? And Meghan's response was, I want to do this because I want to tell my story from my side.
I'm a fan of Meghan, by the way, man.
I am as well.
I loved her since Suits, man.
Yeah, I am a fan of Meghan Markle. I think there are, I don't like certain elements of her, like, it can come across as fake, but generally speaking, the stuff about, there's definitely been like huge racial undertones in everything that's been reported in the UK media, right? So
I saw an interview recently. It was the ex-head of counter-terrorism,
right?
The counter-terrorism unit within the UK, and he said, you know, when he joined the unit was in 2015. Cases of this nature regarding, you know, like hate messages, etc., towards the royals, that was around 5%, and by the time he left, it's over 20%. So he said it's one of the largest growing threats, right? And he said his counterpart in the MI5 agrees, you know. So he says there were serious investigations, they were taking place due to the amount of hate messages, death threats, etc. Meghan, etc. would have been facing. And how can you expect her not to receive death threats when you've outright got newspapers like the Daily Mail, etc. that are just like calling her a bitch every morning?
Yeah, not only that, but like, this serious racial undertone saying, like, you know, she's from the ghetto, she's straight out of Compton, even though she has nothing to do with Compton and all that stuff, right? And images of her mum like going to the laundromat saying, look, you know, this is where she's from and all that stuff, right? So there definitely has been, then like they've been saying, oh look, Meghan's turning the back on the firm being obviously the palace,
institution,
right? The institution, all that stuff, like she's taking Harry with her. So they've painted her.
Loads of people hated her for that.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely.
No, I don't.
Even the first episode itself, it said, like, you know, the polls normally have the royals at 60, 70, 80%.
Yeah.
The public loved them.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of like, and people, I've just been reading tweets, it's like, oh, thank God the Queen's not with us and she doesn't have to see this stuff. Like, just all of this rhetoric. Yeah, there's a lot, man. But people really love the royals, man.
They do. And it's because of, like, you know, like, if like, it's just the PR machine of the palace, basically. They've
got the BBC on hand.
It's not just the BBC. What I mean to say is, like, it's just the PR machine's been working for so long. They're so, like, it's like a well-oiled machine, right?
Did you see Charles went to the Gurdwara?
Oh, did he? I know.
He went to the Gurdwara. I'll send you that video. Yeah, he went to the Gurdwara. That was quite... It's different, man. Why not?
Why?
It's better than... I prefer seeing him go to the Gurdwara than...
Boris Johnson.
Yeah. Well, I used to remember Ed Miliband. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
I didn't care about them. I'd rather see Charles. Let me see Charles go.
Why? At least if Ed Miliband or like somebody, a politician's going, it's... I don't know.
By the way, did you catch any of season 5 of The Crown?
You know what? I couldn't get into it. I've watched every other season, but I tried. I watched.
I really liked it.
Really?
I really liked it. I was shocked, man. Did you ever know about the whole like public conversation that he had? Well, it was a private conversation on a telephone he had with Camilla.
Oh yeah.
And someone came across it and then sent it to a radio station. They aired it.
Yeah. No, I've seen all that. I know.
But like Netflix really got into all of this big time. And like, I was surprised that the royal family would like, and that's where you have to kind of give props to like freedom of speech here. Like, I was genuinely shocked some of this shit got aired, man.
No, because half of the stuff is not true. You know, like on the show, like more than half of the stuff is not.
I know it's based on true stories, but like a lot of the stuff on the show is also true.
Yeah, but then like, what do you mean? Like, oh, the freedom of speech, the palace is allowed. Palace has no control.
It's like when they're talking about the phone calls. Those phone calls are verbatim.
Yeah, but then like, what can the palace do? It's already out there, you know.
I know, but there's people like me. There's a whole generation of people like me. Think about all the people that are younger than me. Yeah. There's so many people that don't know about this, and this guy is now our king. Yeah. He wasn't king at the time. No, he's our king. What I'm trying to say
is like, why are you saying, "Oh, I can't believe the palace has allowed it"? Why would they they have no say in it? Like it's
no, but it's just like.
What do you mean they've allowed it?
It's like it feels bigger than a TV show because it's Netflix and like it's so accessible to every household in the UK.
It is a drama series, okay? Yeah, like why would the palace have any say on it? It's about their life and it's about their life.
Because they had a say on BBC documentaries in the past.
Yeah, because
this is now a different body. It's Netflix. No, because they don't have that same level of control.
BBC is a state-funded organization, right? It's meant to be
and when Diana did that interview with what was his name?
The Bashir, right?
Bashir. Yeah, like that was like a big thing.
Yeah, it was a big...
To me, this kind of felt like a big thing too.
Yeah, I don't know if it is a big thing, to be honest. Like, it's just introducing a lot of the younger audiences to the royal family, basically. All it is doing that. But I don't think, like... I don't see why the palace would have a say on anything, like, creative.
If I was king... That shit, you're airing nothing, mate.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're not king then, isn't it? Like despotic.
So would you care if you were king?
Yeah.
And all your embarrassing stories from uni came out on a Netflix show? Well, what would you say about that?
Yeah, and if they're out there, then they're out there, isn't it?
What if they're not out there and someone like me leaked them? How would you actually feel? I know you would be outraged. You'd be fucking walking up and down. You'd be like, "This is fucked."
Yeah, no, I would fuck you up, but then like that's a different matter, you know.
That's fine. That's the only point of view.
But I'm not king, am I? And nobody gives a shit what I got up to at uni. But if you're a prince, going to be king, then people would.
Fair enough. All right. That's pretty much all I had to say. Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in.
I'll sleep.
Have a good Christmas. If we don't chat to you before then, we've got our Christmas special coming out. Keep your eyes out for that. And yeah, catch you soon.